My dear ones, I want you to open your kitchen cabinets right now. Not metaphorically. Actually walk over there if you can. Open them. What do you see? I already know, because I have had this conversation with hundreds of people over 4 decades in finance. And the answer is almost always the same. There is an appliance in there that cost you more than $100, probably more than $200, and it has not been used in the last 3 months, maybe longer. Maybe you cannot quite remember the last time you used it at all. It might be a juicer, an air fryer that seemed revolutionary 18 months ago, a pasta maker, an instant pot, a waffle iron, a bread machine, a spiralizer, a panini press. It is sitting there, quietly, taking up space you are paying for, collecting the kind of dust that only forms on things that are no longer part of anyone's life. Now meet Elena and Sophie, my dear ones. Same neighborhood, same income. Elena earns $79,000 a year. Sophie earns $79,000 a year. Elena's kitchen has 14 appliances on the counter and another 9 in the cabinets. Sophie's kitchen has a stovetop, a kettle, and a sharp knife. At age 49, Elena has $41,000 saved. Sophie has $318,000. My dears, Elena did not lose her wealth to a bad investment or a financial crisis. She lost it one kitchen appliance at a time, over 20 years, through a mechanism so quiet and so ordinary that most people never see it until I show it to them. Today, I am going to show it to you. Let us open Elena's cabinet and look at what is actually in there. Her juicer, purchased 4 years ago for $280. She used it for 6 weeks during a health kick. Then life continued. The juicer did not. Here is what that juicer has actually cost her. It occupies 1.8 square feet of premium kitchen counter space. In Elena's city, kitchen space carries an effective rental value of $24 per square foot per year. Annual implicit rent on the juicer, $43.20. Over 4 years, $172.80. The juicer required a specialized cleaning brush she bought for $12. It needed a pitcher replacement after the original cracked, $35. She has replaced the pulp container once, $18. And the opportunity cost, that $280 invested in an index fund 4 years ago at 8% average annual return, would be worth $381 today. Total real cost of that juicer over 4 years, over $619. 4 6 weeks of green juice. That is $103 per week of actual use. But the juicer is not alone, my children. It never is. When Elena bought the juicer, she bought a book about juicing, $22. She bought a set of reusable bottles to carry her juices to work, $34. She bought a bag of specialty produce for her first week of juicing, $47. She bought a larger refrigerator drawer organizer to store the produce, $28. The juicer ecosystem cost her $131 before she made a single glass of juice. This is the lifestyle multiplier at its most domestic and most invisible, my dear ones. Every kitchen appliance arrives with an entourage. Accessories, cookbooks, specialty ingredients, storage solutions, cleaning tools, and each member of that entourage charges its own implicit rent on your counter space, your cabinet space, your cognitive space. Now multiply this by 20 years of kitchen appliance purchases. The pasta maker, the instant pot, the panini press, the waffle iron, the spiralizer, the bread machine, each one with its own ecosystem, each ecosystem with its own ongoing second cost. Elena has paid over $8,400 in second costs on kitchen appliances she no longer uses. That is $8,400 that could have been compounding for her future. At 8% annual return, invested 10 years ago, it would be worth over $18,100 today. So why does Elena keep buying kitchen appliances she stops using within weeks? The answer is not appetite, my dear ones. It is identity. Every kitchen appliance represents a version of the person buying it. The juicer is not a machine. It is the person who prioritizes their health and starts every morning with intention. The pasta maker is not an appliance. It is the person who cooks from scratch on Sunday afternoons. The bread machine is the person who fills their home with warmth and nourishes their family from the most fundamental ingredients. But here's what our brain does. It experiences the purchase of the appliance as the acquisition of the identity, not as the beginning of the journey, as the arrival. Neuroscientists call this the symbolic completion effect. The object stands in for the practice. The brain registers. I am now the person who juices. I am now the person who makes pasta. And for approximately 72 hours, that registration feels entirely accurate and deeply satisfying. Then Wednesday arrives, and Thursday, and the juicer sits on the counter, and the counter becomes the background, and the background becomes a quiet daily reminder that the person you purchased is not quite the person you became. That reminder has a cost, my dear ones. Researchers have confirmed that visual clutter, specifically objects that represent unmet intentions, elevates cortisol levels measurably. That is the stress hormone. Elena's kitchen is not a culinary sanctuary. It is a cortisol production facility running on 14 appliances she has half relationships with. Sophie's kitchen is quiet. 3 objects, 3 complete relationships. When Sophie makes her morning tea, her brain moves on immediately to the day ahead. She is not managing the low-level anxiety of a kitchen that contains 12 unfulfilled promises. And that cognitive clarity, compounded over 20 years, is worth considerably more than a well-equipped kitchen. So, how do we break this cycle, my dear ones? 3 rules I have refined across decades of watching people rebuild their relationship with money and space. Every 6 months, open every cabinet and drawer in your kitchen. For every appliance that has not been used in the last 6 months, calculate its annual implicit rent. Multiply by the years it has been there. Add the opportunity cost. Write that number on a piece of masking tape. Stick it to the appliance. Now ask yourself, would I pay this amount today to own this appliance for another year, knowing exactly how often I actually use it? If the answer is no, it leaves this week, not next month. This week, before purchasing any kitchen appliance, you must identify and price its full ecosystem first. The accessories, the specialty ingredients, the cookbooks, the storage it will require, the cleaning tools. Add the ecosystem total to the purchase price. Add the annual implicit rent. Now, you are looking at the real cost. If the real cost divided by your realistic annual uses still delivers value that justifies the number, buy it with full information. If it does not, you have just saved yourself from another silent subscription. For every appliance you are considering purchasing, ask this: if this appliance broke on the day I buy it and I could not return it, would I immediately go out and buy another one? If the honest answer is yes, the appliance has a genuine and demonstrable place in your life. Buy it. If the honest answer is anything other than an immediate and unconditional yes, the appliance is serving your imagination, not your kitchen. And your imagination, my dear ones, does not need counter space. It needs capital. Sophie is not eating worse than Elena, my dear ones. She is eating more honestly. Her kitchen serves the meals she actually makes, not the meals she intends to make, not the meals she made once in 2019 and still thinks of as part of her repertoire. The meals she actually consistently, genuinely makes on a Tuesday evening after a full day of work. And that honesty has compounded into $318,000. Not because Sophie is more disciplined, but because Sophie stopped paying counter space, cabinet space, cognitive space, and capital for a version of herself that lives only in the moment before she clicks purchase. Your kitchen is not just a room, my dear ones. It is a financial statement. Every appliance in it is a line item, and line items that do not deliver value are liabilities. Clear the liabilities, reclaim the capital, and let it compound into the only thing that truly feeds a good life: the freedom to choose how you spend your next 10 years, not the appliance that was going to change how you spend your mornings. If you've watched this far, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like on my video. See you in the next video.